Mother's Day is almost here. Well, Steven Singer Jewelers wants to help you tell moms in your life every single day how appreciated they are. He's introducing his brand new limited edition 24 karat gold dipped blue moon rose for Mother's Day. Skip the flowers that die in a week. These last forever. Steven Singer Jewelers signature gold dipped roses. They're real roses dipped in real 24 karat gold, and they're guaranteed to last a lifetime. Give her something she can look at and remember how loved she is all year long. Picture a brilliantly blue rose, bright blue rose with diamond-like sparkles. Blue roses symbolize rarity and admiration, which makes it the perfect gift to honor moms. This forever gift is a real long-stemmed rose, and it's dipped in 24 karat pure gold. I don't know how they do it. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of Terminator 2, I guess, but he does it. Steven has his full lifetime guarantee. It comes to you in an impressive gift box and your own personal Mother's Day note. Shipping's always complimentary. That means free, yes. Order now exclusively at IHateStevenSinger.com. Hurry, because these will not be restocked and supplies are limited. Nothing says I love you like a real authentic Steven Singer 24 karat gold dipped rose that lasts forever. Only available from Steven Singer Jewelers in Philly or online at IHateStevenSinger.com.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, it is Sunday night. It is the Anthony Cumia Show. And you are you, I am me, and we are together again. Isn't it nice? Thank you, everybody. I do appreciate your support. Happy Mother's Day. I definitely want to say that to all the wonderful mothers out there, the moms. Jay Moore, who is a very funny guy, comedian, and good actor, too, that guy. He had a thing that I caught on, what the hell was that? It wasn't Facebook, Instagram. It was on Instagram, and it was about Mother's Day. He was on the phone. The video starts, he's on the phone, and he's talking to his mom, and he's telling her, like, what's going on in his life, and he's got his little puppy with him. He's telling his mom about the kids and what he's been up to, and then he just stops. He puts the phone down, kind of goes, I wish I could tell my mom those things. It was like, oh, Jay, you got me. It was like, wow, that was a good one. And he's such a damn good actor that I didn't even see it coming. You know, if somebody was a crappy actor and they're talking, hello, mother, how are you? And then, by the way, my mother is not on the phone. I certainly wish she was. But Jay pulled it off, and it was, what do you call that? Poignant? Poignant? It was, it's the new Jay Moore. I got to get him on the show. Jay would come on. What the hell haven't I thought about that? But he's a good guy and a good actor. So he got me with that one. It's like, because if you don't have your mommy around anymore, it's things like Mother's Day. You go like, oh God, I don't have that anymore. So you just, your sister, my sister, I'll go, happy Mother's Day, Dawn. But, you always harken back. I guess that's good. Unless you don't want to be reminded. Some people probably miserable. Glad their mom's gone. But this probably isn't the best day to bring that kind of stuff up. I don't like Facebook when they put the memories up either. I don't like that. Facebook memories. It's like, oh, right, that's my dead cat. That's wonderful. Kind of didn't want to think about that today. But there it is in all its glory. But, happy Mother's Day. Definitely to all the moms out there, and hopefully you had a great little day. Other things going on, though, more important than moms. I'm going to talk about this quickly because this just came in. It's Trump's big pharmaceutical executive order. Have you seen this, people? Have you seen this Trump's executive order? And I'm just wondering how the left-wing propaganda media and the Democrats will, trot upon this and crap on it and do whatever else they do, no matter what Trump is up to. Trump wrote, but this is a pretty long statement from Donald. For many years, the world has wondered why prescription drugs, pharmaceuticals in the United States, they were so much higher in price. And we all know this. I think years ago, you didn't really have a choice. You had to go to the pharmacy and buy drugs, and they're very expensive. Now you could kind of go online. You could get drugs from other countries. I don't know how reputable that is or legal, but if you're pressed, you don't want to spend a bunch of money on medication, and it's life or death, I think you'll take the chance that some German shepherd at the post office isn't going to rat you out when your pills come in. So it's true. We pay a lot more than a lot of other countries do for drugs, sometimes being 5 to 10 times more expensive than the same drug manufactured in the same laboratory or plant by the same company. It was always difficult to explain and very embarrassing. Trump is embarrassed by this because, in fact, there was no correct or rightful answer. Why? The pharmaceutical drug companies would say for years that it was research and development costs. Remember that? I believed that, too. People would bitch about why the drug prices were so expensive, and I would be a good little puppet for the regimes that were in place for years, a good boy, and say, it's research and development. They spend billions doing it. They got to recoup their money. They recoup it in like a week. They recoup their money for research and development about a week. But, I believed it. I was one of those people. And that all the costs were and would be for no reason whatsoever borne by the suckers of America alone. Campaign contributions can do wonders, but not with me and not with the Republican Party. Well, maybe not with you, Trump, but I don't think the entire Republican Party gets a pass on taking pharmaceutical money in order to keep their yaps shut and keep that money machine running. So I don't know. I guess he's being a team player now. We're going to do the right thing, something that Democrats have fought for many years. Yeah, they fought against doing the right thing. Therefore, I'm pleased to announce that tomorrow morning in the White House at 9 a.m., I'll be signing one of the most consequential executive orders in our country's history. Prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 30 to 80%. That's pretty big. They will rise throughout the world in order to equalize and for the first time in many years bring fairness to America. So, these drug companies, they pump out these medications. They put insane price tags on them. And because they know America will pay. The insurance companies, those scams between the doctors, the hospitals, the pharmaceutical companies, all of them are in cahoots, as they say. And they knew America, that's where you get your big money for these drugs. And then they could sell it in the rest of the world for a moderate price because we were the suckers that would pay this money and that had insurance that would pay it. And the premiums go up and you just pay more in premiums for insurance. It's ridiculous. We will be instituting the most favored nations policy, whereby the United States will pay the same price as the nation that pays the lowest price anywhere in the world. Now, that's something right there. I got to say, this is something. It seems pretty good, seems pretty big. Trump doesn't usually do things like this and then doesn't follow through on it. He's going to make an announcement like this. So maybe the prices go up in some of these nations that are paying the lowest prices, but the United States shouldn't pay any more than any other country in the world pays for this medication. Like everything else, we've been the saps, the suckers with the unlimited bank account, and we've all paid for it. Every American taxpayer, if you're paying insurance premiums, everything, we're the ones. And then Trump comes in and wants to lower these prices, like the tariffs, you know, they sting for a little bit. But now I hear China is hammering out a deal with Trump. So those sanctions could be going away very, very soon. And again, proving that Trump had the right idea and the right execution. And people sometimes got to be a little patient and take a little bit of pain. That used to be a big thing years ago. You'd always hear presidents giving speeches, especially in those tough times, world wars, depressions, racial strife. You'd always hear these presidents talking about, yeah, this is what we're going to do. And yeah, you're going to have to bite the bullet a little bit on this one. It's going to sting. And then politicians, all these fake lying politicians with the news media catering to them, they wanted it to sound like everything they do was going to be painless, was going to be great, was going to feel great, never mind even having any pain to it, was going to feel awesome, and the results were going to be awesome. Things rarely work that way. A lot of times sacrifice is involved before you get anything good out of what you were working on. So, you know, the honesty was there with things like the tariffs. Yeah. Prices could go up. It could be a little bit of sting. You're not going to be able to get some of the merchandise that you wanted to get. But this is what we have to do if we want to get out from under all of these other countries that have been screwing us forever in trade. And I don't see how people find a problem with that. So let's see. He goes, healthcare costs will be reduced by numbers never even thought of before. You couldn't even think of numbers like that. Additionally, on top of everything else, the United States is going to save trillions of dollars. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. Yes, Donald. Yeah. And believe me, you know, when Donald does something that I think is a little ridiculous or says something silly, I call it out. But I think the Democrats are going to be pretty hard pressed to be able to crap all over this. You know, there are plenty of other things that he's doing that maybe they could grab hold of. Like the Air Force One thing, just talking about that. But yeah, that's a good thing. Good for Donald Trump, man. Because this has been a big thing. And a lot of the older voters, the Democrats have them so scared that they're going to take my Medicare. How am I going to get a new walker? I need tennis balls for the front of my walker, and I can't afford it. Well, he's not. And now your prescription drugs will be lowered. You old people live for that, for prescription drugs. Going to the pharmacy and have a little chit-chat with the pharmacist while I wait behind you online for twice as long as I had to because your kids won't call you and talk to you. Happy Mother's Day. We'll be right back after these words.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Mother's Day is almost here. Well, Steven Singer Jewelers wants to help you tell moms in your life every single day how appreciated they are. He's introducing his brand new limited edition 24-karat gold dipped blue moon rose for Mother's Day. Skip the flowers that die in a week. These last forever. Steven Singer Jewelers signature gold dipped roses. They're real roses dipped in real 24-karat gold. And they're guaranteed to last a lifetime. Give her something she can look at and remember how loved she is all year long. Picture a brilliantly blue rose, bright blue rose with diamond-like sparkles. Blue roses symbolize rarity and admiration, which makes it the perfect gift to honor moms. This forever gift is a real long-stemmed rose, and it's dipped in 24-karat pure gold. I don't know how they do it. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of Terminator 2, I guess, but he does it. Steven has his full lifetime guarantee. It comes to you in an impressive gift box and your own personal Mother's Day note. Shipping's always complimentary. That means free, yes. Order now exclusively at IHateStevenSinger.com. Hurry, because these will not be restocked and supplies are limited. Nothing says I love you like a real authentic Steven Singer 24-karat gold-dipped rose that lasts forever. Only available from Steven Singer Jewelers in Philly or online at IHateStevenSinger.com.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. 3 couples, 4 vacations, a lot to unpack. Watch The 4 Seasons, a new series starring comedy favorites Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and more in a hilarious and heartfelt love letter to long-term relationships. Based on the original Alan Alda film. Watch The 4 Seasons, streaming now only on Netflix.
Ladies, you'll end up shopping for your guy's deodorant, right? So try Degree's Original Cool Rush. You see, last year, Degree changed the formula, and men were mad. One guy even started a petition. So Degree admitted they messed up and brought the Original Cool Rush scent back. It's clean, crisp, and actually smells like someone you want to cuddle. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So toss one in your cart and find out why it's the best-selling men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. That was a quick little break. Nothing to fret about, people. The Anthony Cumia Show's back. My goodness, every week, I tell you, it gets tougher and tougher to choose who will headline this next segment. You know what it is, because I have to paw through so many candidates, and I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I think I have to just pick a name out of a hat, because there are so many of these clowns, and I don't know which one could possibly be Clown of the Week.
The Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
Indeedy do. The Clown of the Week. This week, coming back from a long vacation. This is a guy, was a clown for 4 years, maybe even longer when you look at before he was president. But he's reared his empty head on a show that, oh boy, I love, The View. That's a good one. The Ladies of The View. Ooh, just a bunch of strong, smart women talking about the issues and putting men in their place. Ooh, I can't get enough. Ugh. But this is, Joe Biden took a trip there, and he had his wife with him, the good doctor. The good doctor, Jill Biden, was with him. And they asked him some pretty hard-hitting questions, you know. And Joe babbled through most of it and blamed everyone else but himself for the catastrophe that was his presidency for 4 years. And the first one here, this is him. He was asked about the border. Now, everybody knows, at least now, the media that speaks to him now, they knew way back when, during the campaign of 2020, they knew that he was mentally impaired. They didn't say anything because that wasn't their marching orders from the brass. So they lied, said Joe was fine. They said the border wasn't out of control whenever Biden got up there, or his press secretary, or Kamala Harris got up there, and a brave reporter would say, hey, the border really seems to be a mess. They would chastise that person, look down their nose at him, shake their finger, and go, what? The border is fine. And then finally, when everyone knew the border wasn't fine, they came up with that bill. We have a bipartisan bill. If signed, we take care of the border. But Trump called everyone and said, don't sign it. Just make it look bad. That's what the company line was. So they ran with that. And then Trump gets in office, and without any bill, without anything, using the power of the presidency and the might of the U.S. military, he shut the border down. It's inconsequential what's coming in now. It's been reduced by, I think, 98%. So everything Biden said, everything the press repeated about the border was a lie, an absolute lie. And you think Biden has figured out some way to maybe make it sound like he wasn't lying or he did have a plan? Nope. Same old nonsense. Same old nonsense. So here's Joe. Here's old Joe Biden talking about the border. And I believe he puts the blame squarely on Donald J. Trump.
When you announced that you wouldn't be seeking re-election, only 28% of the country thought that the country was on the right track. Now, you are understandably very proud of many achievements in your administration. But do you take any responsibility for not hearing the concerns of voters on the border security or cost of living sooner? And do you take any responsibility for Trump's re-election?
Yes, I do, because, look, I was in charge and he won. So, I take responsibility, number one. But number two, you remember we put together a commission.
The number two's in his pants.
With one of the most conservative members of the United States Senate from Oklahoma running it. We came up with a significant means by which we could deal with the border. What did Trump do? He got on the telephone and he called Republicans, do not support it. It's legal, it'll work, it'll make Biden look good, don't do it. And they backed off.
Yeah.
They backed off.
Yeah. You hear all the yentas there on The View? The hens, the cackling hens in the background. Yeah. No, he had a bill. We read it. We had plenty of time because that's all they talked about during his campaign and then the Kamala campaign. It's all we heard about was this amazing bill that would have cured every ill at our border. And the only reason it couldn't pass was Donald Trump was on the phone calling everyone up, telling them, don't vote for it. But truth be told, that bill had nothing in it that would have helped anything as far as crossings over the border. We were hiring new border agents. Yeah, that would have sat at a desk miles away from the border, filling out paperwork for all the illegals that were coming in. It would have given money to distribution plans to get planes and buses to ship them to other parts of the country. And he made it try to make it sound like this amazing bipartisan bill. And then Trump gets in literally day one. He's signing his executive orders to stop the invasion of illegals into this country. And it worked. And Biden just cannot get it through his head, his thin tissue paper head, that's what happened. There's another one here. A couple, actually, I think. Biden says he would have won if Kamala Harris had replaced him, if everyone, every Democrat, every celebrity, every news agency had finally said, oh, yeah, he's a blithering idiot. He's got Alzheimer's or some form of dementia. So maybe we got to replace him with somebody. But this is a good little jab at Kamala Harris, because he's saying obviously she didn't win. And he's saying that me as a dinosaur with Alzheimer's would have been able to beat Donald Trump. But we don't believe that either, do we, kids? So here he is talking about how he would have won this election.
You had previously said that you thought that you would have won. Since then, Donald Trump won all the battleground states and made inroads with almost every major, from working class voters to Hispanic men to black men. Knowing what you know now, do you think you would have beat him?
Yeah, he still got 7 million fewer votes.
Yes.
There you go. Okay. A lot of people didn't show up. Number one. Number two, they're very close in those toss-up states. It was it wasn't a slam dunk, and so
yes, it was.
Look, every time I've been on the show, which I've been fortunate to be on more than once. Thanks for having me. Is that we talk? You guys don't focus on as much, and I think it's good on polling numbers. But let me put it this way: he's had the worst 100 days any president's ever had.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
Oh, woo! The clapping of that audience. All right, you could cut him off. The clapping of the audience. The worst 100 days. Yay! First of all, that's bull. That's just garbage. The polls are run by partisan propaganda morons, the mainstream media. We all know that. If the polls were right, we'd have President Kamala Harris right now, because every poll was talking about how she was going to run away with the election. And the first 100 days, they're great. They've been great. He's doing something. He's hard at work. Unlike this clown here. It stuns me that you get an audience of people applauding that a president had the worst 100 days. Even though, like I said, that's a bunch of crap. But they want to see him fail. They want to see, at the expense of this country, at the expense of Americans' well-being, they want to see people hurt and in pain so that Donald Trump can take the blame for it. It's ridiculous. We'll be back in moments with the great Mr. Roger Stone. I have some things I definitely want to ask him about. This whole, what is it? That astronaut that is mad at him now. We'll be back in moments with Roger. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back, everybody. The Anthony Cumia Show. My guest here this evening, he has a show here in New York City on WABC Radio, I believe Sunday nights, 5 o'clock. I'm a big fan of his. He's been through the ringer. You want to talk about lawfare. You want to talk about the justice system being abused and weaponized against somebody. This is your poster boy right here. The great Mr. Roger Stone. What's up, Roger?
Anthony, great to be with you. First of all, congratulations for the extraordinary success of your hit show on 77 WABC, the most powerful, influential AM radio station in America today.
It is, right? The cream rises to the top, Roger. Don't we know this?
I love being on before you. It's great.
Yeah, you're on before me, and a great lineup of guests and some real honest talk about what's going on. I mean, you've been through the mill. I can't imagine you're afraid of much more because, you know, you've been through it. That 29 armed agents busting down your door at 6 a.m. with, of course, CNN right there to capture it all. That's got to leave you with quite the bad taste in your mouth for our government. How do you continue to want to do good and make a difference in this country when the country has screwed you so?
Well, the real irony, Anthony, of course, is that long after my trial, long after the president recognized that I was prosecuted not because I did anything wrong, not because I broke the law, but because I refused to testify falsely against him. Long after that, the BuzzFeed sued the Department of Justice, forcing them to release Robert Mueller's final, completely unredacted report, in which even he admitted that he'd found no evidence of Russian collusion or WikiLeaks collaboration, or any other misdeed on my part. Right. All of that information, by the way, withheld from my defense attorneys at trial. So I feel exonerated, vindicated. I think people now realize the Russian collusion hoax was the greatest single dirty trick and abuse of power in American political history. Nothing less than the use of the full authority of the federal government and the extraordinary capabilities of our intelligence agencies to try an illicit effort to remove a duly elected president, Donald Trump.
Yes. You have to, I don't know how you deal with bitterness. Maybe a lot of people become very vengeful, but to see that whole, the Steele dossier, the Russian collusion, all the lies that were coming out and no accountability whatsoever. The only victims, the only people that had to suffer for that were people like you that were picked out by the Justice Department, a weaponized Justice Department, and screwed over. And are you bitter? Do you have access to grind? Do you want to see some people fall and get that vengeance?
Well, I think we should recalibrate the justice system so we rebalance the scales of justice so we don't have a two-tiered system. In other words, Hillary Clinton destroys 33,000 emails with bit bleach and a hammer when she knows that they're under subpoena. She pays no price for that. I was specifically charged with lying to Congress under oath about Russian collusion, which actually never took place. I mean, how do you lie about something that doesn't really happen? Yet James Comey lied, John Brennan, the CIA director, lied, Hillary Clinton lied, all these people lied. They lied about material things. Any misstatement I made was completely immaterial. In other words, no underlying crime to hide. Am I bitter?
Right.
No, I'm not bitter. I'm grateful. I'm grateful, first of all, to God that he heard my prayers. I'm grateful to Donald Trump that he recognized that I was a political prisoner and politically persecuted in an effort to get him. It wasn't about me. It was about him. And the American people, in the end, they saw through it. They saw through the whole thing, despite the collaboration between big media and the Democrat Party.
I was so they call it black-pilled, where you just feel at a loss, and you feel powerless to do anything, like you're just on another entity's roller coaster. And I was feeling that way before the election. I really thought Kamala had a chance because I didn't trust them at all to run an honest election. I still don't think they did run an honest election. I think it was just there were so many people that voted for Trump, it was too big to steal. But you get in these situations where you have such a distrust of the government, and you hope that Donald Trump getting in there and what he's doing isn't just this speed bump. It isn't just a kind of a pause on the road to ruin, as I like to call it, that the left had put us on for many years. How are you feeling these days about the future prospects of America?
Well, first of all, as you know, in politics, a week is a lifetime. So anybody who wants to prognosticate what's going to happen in the midterm elections, it's far too early to say. Right. I do know this. Donald Trump is an enormously stubborn and determined individual, and he has one goal, which is to restore prosperity, peace, and justice to the country. And I think he's going to do that. It's like turning around an ocean liner. It's not going to happen in 100 days. It's not going to happen in 200 days. Can it happen in 4 years? Most definitely. Yeah. He already recognizes that the key to a revival in the country is a boom economy. And between his efforts to get reasonable, fair trade agreements with our trading partners, lower taxes on all Americans, not just the wealthy, but across the board tax reduction, and plus start to cut not the millions, not the billions, but the trillions of dollars of waste, fraud, and corruption that Elon Musk has uncovered. Those three things together can give us a boom economy, and you'll have Republican presidents elected as far as the eye can see.
You know, when the opposition, as far as Democrat, Republican goes, whoever's in power, there's the opposition. And they never want to give kudos to the party in power at the time. But this seems bigger than that. To just try to smear every single thing that this president does, to try to stand in the way of every single thing, to literally go down to a foreign country to attempt to bring back a convicted criminal from El Salvador. They are going to lengths that I don't think is just being the opposition. Hey, we're on the other side. We have to do this. You know, a lot of people look back to Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan. You know, that I believe were two people that they knew what America needed, even if they didn't agree with each other. We are in such a horrible place politically right now because I don't believe that there's any common ground anymore.
Well, first of all, things are much larger than Republican and Democrat. I think you had largely a realignment in the last election, which common sense Democrats like Robert Kennedy, like Tulsi Gabbard, like Rod Blagojevich and others recognized that there were really two sets of beliefs here. This is a fight between the insiders and an outsider. This is a fight between those who believe in war and censorship, who don't think we should examine the safety of the drugs we're giving our families, the purity of the food that we're feeding our families, and those who favor peace, free speech, and who want to get to the bottom of why we have a childhood chronic disease epidemic in this country. We're the wealthiest country on earth, yet all of our health statistics are in the toilet. Why is that? This grand coalition between Donald Trump and the Make America Healthy branch of the libertarian movement, Democrat movement, I think is a reset for our entire politics. Look, put it another way: the old Democrat Party, the party of John Kennedy, the party of Tip O'Neill, the party that believed in strong national defense, believed in capitalism, believed in God, believed in free enterprise. That Democrat Party no longer exists as a reality. It's been kidnapped by a group of radical Marxist leftists. And if Trump
mental
says
patients,
right, they say
Roger,
left.
too. Don't forget mental patients.
Right. They're emptying out the mental institutions, as a great man says. No, what you say is true. It's very hard to examine those who are arguing that an illegal member of a terrorist gang who is not a U.S. citizen should not be deported to his home country and stay there, that he should be brought back. I don't understand the politics of that. I don't know where the votes are in that. There are no votes in that I can see.
Like most of the stuff that the Democrats seem to be doing, I think years ago would have been kept a little more covert because it's so blatantly un-American, such an unpopular thing to want to do. If you really just look at, I think not the fringe, but the American people, the ones that voted. And even though they had smeared Donald Trump, tried to imprison him, indicted him, and tried to kill him, literally, still got elected. So I feel that gave me a little hope that the American people at least see through this lying machine that has been our leadership for so long. I just hope that continues because, like you said, people are fickle. I mean, I never understand when they put a poll out and one day later it's different. I'm like, who are the people that change their mind in one day? Like, what idiot saw something on the news and went, yeah, okay, forget it. I'm changing my vote. But I get you. I want to get into something else real quick. Of course, astronaut Mark Kelly. You had a little beef with him, a little blow up. I want to play the clip of him addressing what you said. Is that okay, Roger?
Sure, go ahead, and then I'll tell you the truth.
Let's play Mark Kelly talking about Roger Stone.
Hey, the other day, Roger Stone called for me to be executed. Yeah, that Roger Stone, Donald Trump's buddy. And it's because I called out this administration on their corruption, how they're using meme coins and stable coins for Donald Trump to make money. And it should be illegal, so we introduced legislation to do that, to keep him, president, vice president, members of Congress from taking these, what should be illegal acts, not who we are as a country. It's not right. But what Roger Stone said is really, really dangerous. My wife, Gabby Giffords, was nearly assassinated. She was shot in the head. Political violence is a real thing, and they're trying to make it worse. So thank you for sticking with me on this. It's really important, and it's really important that we fight back. So thank you very much.
Amazing. They always talk about the threats that the right are making to the left, but it's always the left that are trying to kill people and injure people. What say you, Roger? About
let me address precisely exactly what I said. First of all, it had nothing whatsoever to do with cryptocurrency. It had nothing to do with that at all. Fox News correctly reported that Mark Kelly, I guess he sidelines as a U.S. senator, but he is a founder of a company which makes these satellite surveillance balloons, spy balloons.
The China spy balloons.
Communist China.
Right.
Financed by Communist China. And therefore, I said, I believe that was treasonous, and that therefore he should stand trial, and that if convicted, that he should be executed consistent with federal law. Those are my exact words. I did not say he should be killed. I did not say he should be assassinated. I did not say he should be arbitrarily executed. I said he should stand trial because I believe that that is treasonous.
Yes.
But you see, now what happens is the fake news gets ginned up, the Daily Beast and Apple News and Smart News and all these fake news outlets, and they recycle his version of what happened, which isn't even remotely close to what I actually said, because what I said is correct. I believe this is treasonous. I believe he should therefore be charged, go through a fair trial, and if convicted, yes, capital punishment is, you can check the federal law, that is the prescribed sentence for treason. So you see, they just smear you and try to use this for their political fundraising. They're the ones, by the way, who I didn't hear Kelly complaining about the 2 attempts on President Donald Trump's life.
Right.
In fact, we still don't know anything about them.
No, nothing, because, well, I tend to believe that maybe some people were involved that are in the public eye these days. I don't know. I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but when so many facts or seemingly accurate things that happened on those days where these assassins were trying to take his life, it makes you think, Roger. Makes you think.
Well, it's just hard. It's hard for me to understand how the local police, the state police, and the Secret Service know for 92 minutes that there's a man inside the sealed perimeter of the event who both is seen with a gun and a rangefinder, but no one informed President Trump's direct security detail, and he wasn't therefore evacuated as would have been required under the Secret Service protocols. How is it that the Secret Service, the state police, and the local police are on 3 different radio frequencies that can't speak to each other? How is it that we can see still photographs and video of the man they say was the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, speaking to somebody on the phone, but they tell us that his phone can't be unencrypted, so we don't know who it is he was speaking to? None of these things make any sense. And then, of course, just the same way they hosed out the back of the limousine an hour after JFK was killed, they hosed off the roof of the building where they tell us Crooks shot from to ensure that we couldn't test any DNA he may have left behind. Right. I find it very curious at a minimum.
It's all, yes, at a minimum, very curious. You know, I don't think I've ever heard of an assassination attempt, at least in the last 100, 200 years even, where people were saying, there he is, before the shots were taken. Usually it's after the assassin fires where people go, hey, I saw him, there he was. More than a half hour beforehand, there were people saying, there he is, the guy with a gun, he's on the roof. And Trump was allowed to continue to speak on that stage under a spotlight and the sun shining on him, a perfect target. And yeah, nothing was done. And we're just supposed to believe that. You know, the plausible deniability has gotten a little ragged around the edges these days, Roger. I mean, back in the old days, at least there was some substantial plausible deniability. But these days, I mean, they're not even trying.
No, and look, several congressional investigators have established that the counter sniper got the shooter within his sights, but rather than shooting and killing him, he's pointing a gun at the president or the future president of the United States, a protected presidential candidate. He waits until the guy gets off 8 rounds before he finally takes him out. So, like I say, there's far more questions here than answers, but we don't see the Secret Service, nor the FBI, nor any other federal entity providing any answers. The situation surrounding the attempt in West Palm Beach is just as shady. This guy is supposedly Ryan Routh. They tell us he's indigent. He's behind in his alimony payments. He's behind in his rent payments. So how did he afford to fly to the United States? How did he get here? How did he obtain a gun? How did he hide for 18 hours outside the golf course undetected?
And
these are very odd questions.
Connections with Ukraine, connections with other, nefarious people and governments. And why do you think Trump, now that he's got the seat, doesn't do more? Or do you think maybe he is doing more behind the scenes? you think, hey, I got the seat now. I'm going to dig into this. They try to kill me, man. I am really going to see what happened here.
Well, you would certainly think that our new FBI director, who I have a high degree of confidence in, would be examining these issues. You would suspect that the Attorney General would do so. But so far, we don't have any new answers. I noticed Congressman Stubbe from Florida, who's on the Intelligence Committee, says the committee has not been briefed, even a classified briefing as to what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. It's deeply, deeply disturbing. Here's the biggest reason why it's disturbing, Anthony, because if they tried twice before, what would stop them from trying again? This is what I pray about the most. This is my greatest single fear. Trump is such a force of nature. He is so committed to radical change that really endangers the deep state and their operatives and their power, control, and money. I just pray that they do not try to assassinate him again.
Yeah. I think obviously before the election would have been a little more advantageous because then their candidate or their puppet might have been in there, and it might be a little tough now to get rid of him. You still got the same people. The people would be very angry about assassinating their president. But I got to take a quick break. Roger, I'd love for you to stick around a little longer. I want to talk some Nixon with you. Because I know you are a Nixon aficionado. You knew the man, and I think he's great, and I want to talk about his vindication. We'll be back with more of the Anthony Cumia Show with Roger Stone in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. Yes, the Anthony Cumia Show on a Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Roger Stone, for joining us. Roger, I know you knew the man, Richard Milhous Nixon. I was a big fan growing up. I was a Nixon kid. I just thought he was great. I sent him a Christmas card once, and he sent me one back. It was all stamped, from the White House, and his signature was stamped on there, but I saved that thing for years. I was a big fan. What do you think these days, having seen what the government can do, what the media and the government together can do, Hollywood, I mean, all the usual suspects that can destroy people's lives. Do you think us seeing that has given us a little more insight into what was done to Richard Nixon?
I've discussed this with President Trump, who's asked me several times, so Nixon was a fighter, why did he quit? The answer is quite simple. If the internet had existed in 1973, 74, Nixon would have survived. The problem here was you had a monolithic media, 3 major broadcast networks, a handful of national news magazines, Time, Newsweek, and a few major newspapers, and that was it. There was no platform with which to counterpunch, no platform with which to put forward the counter narrative. We now know, based on declassified federal documents, the CIA was well aware of the plan to break into the Watergate in advance, that they infiltrated the burglar team, that 4 of the 8 Watergate burglars were still actively on the payroll of the CIA, still reporting to their handlers. Nixon was a grave danger to the deep state. If you look in his biography, if you look in the diary of his chief of staff, Bob Haldeman, he was planning to take power from the CIA. He was going to follow Dwight Eisenhower's advice in regard to the military-industrial complex. So Nixon was preparing to take power away from unelected bureaucrats in our foreign policy apparatus, and therefore he was a grave danger to the deep state. He also knew, quite candidly, who had killed John F. Kennedy. He was a danger from that point of view as well. So they took him out in a silent coup. They didn't assassinate him the way they did Kennedy, or they later would try to assassinate Reagan and Trump. But in retrospect, the real tragedy here is the greatness of his record gets lost in the ashes of Watergate. I mean, he reached a strategic arms limitation with the Russians, which saved his country tens of billions of dollars in defense spending. Right. He brought China in out of the cold at a time that China is a dirt-poor agrarian society. Few Chinese have indoor plumbing. The rural areas have no electricity. They're not a military threat to us. They're not an economic threat to us. He plays them off skillfully against the Russians to get a strategic arms limitation agreement. There's no way for Nixon to look 30 years down the road and see that Bill Clinton is going to give them most favored nation trading status and sell them our top military missile targeting secrets. This is what has made them the danger they are today. Nixon ends the war in Vietnam. Nixon desegregates all of the public schools without incident or bloodshed. Nixon does away with the military draft. Nixon gives us the 18-year-old vote. Nixon unilaterally saves Israel from total annihilation in the 1973 Yom Kippur War over the objections of Kissinger, over the objections of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, over the objections of his entire foreign policy apparatus. It is Nixon who says, no, airlift $37 million in lethal aid to the Israelis and do it now, because Israel had their backs against the sea.
Yeah, it's I don't think, unfortunately, I think a little too much time went by for people that experienced his presidency to go, wow, boy, that was a big load they dumped all over him. But historically, I think he's coming out looking like a better leader and a better president without the Watergate thing really being the only thing that people remember about him.
I think as time goes by, history will treat him more kindly when you simply look at his various accomplishments. He was an extraordinarily capable president, and it is a durable record. Unfortunately, the left just keeps their answer to everything is Watergate. Watergate.
Yeah. Roger, thanks so much for coming on, man. I'd love to do your show at some point. I'm a big fan.
That would be great.
I pay attention to your doings, and I appreciate you popping on, man. You're a good egg, and we'll talk to you again. Have a great one, Roger. Thanks so much.
Again.
Roger Stone, everybody, and we'll be back after these words.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I want to thank Roger Stone for popping on with us. Always a pleasure talking to Roger. God, that guy's been through it. I just don't even know what I would do in that circumstance. We've been built up to be so paranoid about, home invasions. It happens. We see it. I don't know how much we thought the possibility of it years ago, but when you're just inundated with videos of it all the time, ring cams, here's another person kicking the door down, or, you get a little shaky. And as an armed citizen, you want to be responsible. You obviously don't want to make mistakes. That's a mistake you're going to live with for the rest of your life, either home or in jail, or, weeping that you made an error and someone lost their life. But the idea that the police are going to kick your door open at 6 a.m., you and your wife are sleeping. This is Roger Stone. This guy isn't part of a terrorist organization. He's laying there with his wife, sleeping in the wee hours of the morning. And you wonder how you'd react to that. You have to have talks with everyone in your house about things like that if you're a controversial character, because, swatting is a thing. It's another terrible thing that people are doing to other people. And, they ought to start prosecuting people that do that as attempted murder, because that's what it is. One wrong move, people reading about it online the next day, but you're not there anymore. So he's been through it. I like Roger. Respect that guy. Well, it is Mother's Day, and there are a couple of stories here about family and moms. Maybe not the traditional ones most radio shows do about Mother's Day, because you know me, I'm a bit pessimistic, a bit sarcastic, a bit black-pilled about things. Hollywood. You know how I am about Hollywood. I'm just captivated. The glitter, Tinseltown, It's just such an amazing place, full of amazing people that try to tell you what to do with your lives as theirs literally fall apart in front of us. They're terrible degenerates at best. At worst, who knows what they're into? You see their facial features change on a daily basis. It's like some kind of devil thing going on. Adrenochrome, is it real? I don't know. I don't say no to anything anymore. Who am I? Maybe these Hollywood celebrities are shooting up the blood adrenaline of children to look younger. I don't know. Who am I? But this Mother's Day, I want to say happy Mother's Day to Cher, the wonderful singer, actress, Cher, because she's got a couple of kids. One, of course, is Chastity Bono. Chastity Bono was her child with Sonny Bono. And if you're as old as me, you remember something called the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. They did a variety show. And at the end, they'd bring little Chastity Bono out. And she was probably 3 or 4, blonde-haired girl, real cute. And she would say something cute and stupid, and the audience would applaud. Well, the great parenting of Sonny and Cher in Hollywood, Chastity decided to chop off things that made Chastity a woman and grow a beard and become Chaz Bono. And that little girl is gone, just gone. And Cher is the mom of Chaz Bono, former girl, now boy. Well, Cher had another child, a son, Elijah Blue Allman. You know, the Allman brothers there. Greg Allman was the father. She did a lot of screwing, that Cher. She was a big celebrity hose bag, as they call it. But Cher's son, Elijah Blue Allman, disheveled with, what do they say, fake nails, sores, and seemingly in bad mental health at an L.A. hotspot. Cher's 48-year-old son recently spotted looking worse for wear following the end of his ugly conservatorship battle with his superstar mom. All of these Hollywood people, especially their kids, who had to grow up with zero, like, actual real-world parenting or guidance, these are degenerates, horrible people. Their kids are usually a trinket, like one of those little chihuahuas they could put in a bag, and they cart that around, and then the next day, I'll take my kid out. That'll be fun. And they live their horrible, debaucherous lifestyle right under their children's noses, the sex, the drugs, and their kids get screwed up to no end, just completely screwed up. And then they'll get on social media or whatever other platform, an award show, and stand up and just with a serious look on their face, tell you how you should live your life and raise your kids, and you know, where your tax money should go, how you should be sympathetic to this cause or that cause, while their lives are falling apart at the seams for everyone to see. So this guy, just another, let's see, was smoking cigarettes outside the famous Chateau Marmont Hotel on Sunset in L.A. His clothes were in tatters per video that someone got, of course. They love videotaping these poor bastards. I don't know why fingernail polish is a big thing. Let's see. He was staring off vacantly before shaking and wandering back into the famed hotel. Cher or her representatives could be reached for comment. She's 78. And, they ended their conservatorship battle. But a lot of these guys got to be in this conservatorship. Like Britney Spears. God only knows. She was involved with the Nickelodeon thing and then being a teen pop star and just the nightmare of the vultures that went after these kids. And then, you watch her on TikTok or Instagram and she's insane. She's dancing around with dark rings under her eyes and a knife in a bikini. It would be funny if she was doing it for laughs, but she's a mental patient. And so many of these Hollywood kids go through this. And again, these are the parents that'll tell you how you should live. They know best. They know what the school curriculum should be. They think it's fine for Drag Queen Story Hour to happen for your kids, regardless of how you feel about it. Because that's how you raise children. It takes a village, as Hillary said. The school should be able to make decisions about your child's welfare without your knowledge. If your boy is 8 years old and thinks he's a girl, he should be able to go to school and get changed into a dress without his parents' knowledge. And then they have these kids like her, Cher, like Rosie O'Donnell, like Robert De Niro, who now he had a mental patient son. Now he's got a mental patient daughter. How about that? Rosie has a daughter that is a drug addict. She's in prison. She was adopted. And then she takes her other adopted daughter and runs off to Ireland to God knows what. God knows how screwed up that kid will be. Anyone listening to these celebrities are out of their mind. And Liev Schreiber, he's got a trans daughter now. Was a son, now it's a daughter. And he's very proud. He's the perfect dad for a trans daughter, apparently. That's what the daughter says. And he, what does he say here? Because it's pretty Kai. Kai is the young lass's name. And he just couldn't be more excited. They all couldn't be more excited. It's like an award. It's better than an Oscar up on their mantle of their fireplace, is walking out of their gated mansion that isn't around any minorities and having everyone around go, look at how awesome. He has a transgender daughter. That is he must be the most wonderful dad ever. That's the world we're living in. But I see that pendulum. It's swinging back. The Trump election, everything, the way media and social media is working, we're getting this feeling that everyone is waking up to that. It's sort of odd to say you're waking up to what was woke, but it's true. We all knew this. We all talked about it, but it was just one of these things that you were afraid to say anything about because you'd be crucified. You'd lose everything, your job, your family, everything's gone. Now people are at least speaking up and going, no, this is insanity. And Hollywood is just always will be at the forefront of insanity. All right, we'll be back in a couple. Stick around. Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, the Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you for tuning in. My goodness, why don't we take a few calls? 800-848-9222. Ponderous. We'll take some calls about what we've been talking about or what you want to talk about. I don't care. I'm open. Lenny from the Isle of Long Island, my home Island. What's up, Lenny? Maybe I missed him. Damn it. Damn me all to hell. I'll take that off. Oh, no. I might have to go to... Oh, he might not just be there. Maybe he's just not there. No, I think I locked it or something. I'll drop his call. There we go. Let's go to David from Jersey. David, what's up?
Hey, thank you for very much talking to Roger Stone. You and Roger are good men, and what he went through with that whole swatting affair. Or
crazy.
It wasn't swatting, but it was, in my opinion, a lot of people that call themselves journalists. One day there is going to be a severe pushback, and I look forward to being on the sidelines with my Jiffy Pop and a can of Guinness. I wanted to respectfully to ask if you could, in light of what went down Friday in the safe city of Newark,
yes.
Had he gotten arrested, it would have been the height of hilarity for Junior to not be able to say goodbye to his father on D-Day 81 years ago. 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds, they served in D-Day. Well, D-Day is when Senator Menendez is to report to prison. So I was hoping you might consider giving a weekly update, because I would love if I could say goodbye to Senator Menendez. I really would. I think I speak on behalf of everyone in the Communist People's Republic of New Jersey when I say, Senator Menendez, it's only a week away. Have fun.
Yeah. Senator Bob Menendez, of course, of New Jersey, embroiled in so much corruption, and it bit him in the ass, and he is serving time for it. He will go to prison. He has to report, like you said, to prison, which is amazing. And his son, Rob Menendez, he doesn't want to go by Bob Jr., I guess. He should have changed it to something completely different. His son, Rob Jr., was connected with the cluster F, if I may say, that happened at the ICE facility, the ICE holding facility in
Thank God
Newark.
It wasn't the air traffic control at Newark Airport, huh?
Well, that's screwed enough. Again, I have to think it has DEI all over it. It has budgetary issues. They'd rather give money to themselves and cronies than the modern equipment that a major metropolis airport needs to function. They're using archaic equipment there because they just can't get the money. And, we're watching money being wasted at every turn. But, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit.
Thank you.
David, that whole debacle and LaMonica MacGyver assaulting an officer and denying it. I mean, we'll talk about that soon. But thanks for your call, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Could I tell you a quick, clean joke if possible?
All right. You did good. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think to a degree, if you know how a lot of people have been dealing with Route 80 in northern communist New Jersey, this joke, it goes out to everybody in traffic or trying to get around it and whatnot. Here's the question. What did the feds say when a drone landed in the sinkhole on Route 80?
What did the feds say when a drone landed in a sinkhole on Route 80?
Cover it up.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Hey, you need the fill. Why not, right?
But see, that doesn't make sense because they don't actually fix the sinkholes or the potholes. They do cover up governmental secrets and things we should know. But thank you, David. I do appreciate David's call. Let's see. Harriet, they're from Brooklyn, New York. Harriet, what's up?
I got to say, when I worked for Victor Rizzo, when I got out of Brooklyn College before it was woke, and Nixon did great stuff, and I want to defend Roger Stone. What the hell was Mark Kelly doing investing in a Chinese communist country with these spy balloons? These are the guys the CCP gave us the COVID virus and the COVID vaccine. And they had a parallel military lab working on that biotechnology to kill us.
With no repercussions whatsoever. China did not have to answer one iota for what they did, the plague they unleashed on the world. And why is that? Why is that, Harriet? I don't know.
Well, I guess they wanted to take down Donald Trump, and they wanted to take down the United States of America. And you got to remember, during the Cultural Revolution, during Mao's time, they were eating each other. It's insanity it's insanity that country. They're out of their minds. And
were they really eating each other, Harriet?
They were doing stuff like that during the Cultural Revolution, during Mao's
time. I remember, Harriet, I do remember sitting at my dinner table with my parents and my brother and sister. And if I didn't finish everything, my dad would tell me, eat it. There are children starving in China. I remember that, but I didn't think they were eating each other. If my dad said they're eating each other in China, I might have shoved down them Brussels sprouts a little quicker.
Good idea.
Yeah.
But the thing is that what they unleashed, especially with the COVID-19 vax, Biden is compromised, and with their Committee of Truth, they were forcing everybody to take an experimental drug. But God bless Donald Trump. Those 8,000 military guys who were either fired or quit because they didn't want to take this experimental death shot, they were given back their jobs.
Yep. As they should have been. It was a travesty that they were, some guys weren't just soldiers there for the 3-year stint. They were career men that had dedicated their life to the American military, and they were told to leave because they didn't want to take this whatever it is. I don't even know at this point. I'm glad I never took it. Harriet?
Oh, yeah.
Did you take it?
Never. I would not take that.
Good girl.
As a matter of fact, I worked as a junior copywriter for Pfizer. They were making jokes about the side effects of the drugs in 1980 to 84. This company is off the reservation, and they invested in China, and they're partners with the CCP. With this, they have I think $1 billion contract with Biden and the Committee of Truth. God forbid if you said anything against Biden and this mandate to take this damn shot, they'd want to kill you.
It wasn't that long ago. Well, we just lived through it a few years back. We saw what they were willing to do to people that spoke out against it. Harriet, thank you, my dear. Very good talking to Harriet. We'll take one more before we. Let me see. This guy wants to talk about that. All right. I'll talk to Joaquin. What's up, Joaquin from Pennsylvania? What's happening?
Mr. Cumia. Hey,
by the way, Joaquin, if I may, Joaquin, may I interject something very quickly? You're from Pennsylvania. Myself, Gavin McInnes, and Josh Denny will be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for a comedy show next Saturday. So join us. Go to, I think it's censored.tv for ticket information. Thank you, sir. Anyway, what's up?
It's on the other side of the state. Again, I mentioned last week, about the deep state going after Donald Trump and sabotage from actually within the administration. I don't know if you took a look at what I had mentioned. Possibility of, unfortunately, the Green Beret are trained, to subversion and working behind enemy lines and things like that, overthrowing governments. And unfortunately, when you have connections to Dick Cheney, it makes me suspicious. Now, and deep state sabotage, I want you to think back to the 2022 election. Okay, there was supposed to be that red tsunami. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Roe versus Wade was overturned. And the first thing I said to my wife, though I would have been in favor of it, I'm anti-abortion. I said to my wife, I said, Diane, I said, that is the end of the red tsunami right there.
Wow.
And somebody from inside, they decided that, they just did not want that red tsunami to occur.
Yeah. Dude, good point. It could have been sabotage. I don't put anything past anybody anymore. Thank you, Joaquin. And we are taking a quick break, but we will be back. I want to talk about that LaMonica MacGyver and these ICE assaults that happened. So stick around. The Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
That moment when you realize your skincare is actually working. That's Rodan & Fields, the #1 female dermatologist-founded skincare brand in the U.S. Designed by 2 dermatologists who don't just know women's skin, they know how to formulate for it. Rodan & Fields, love what you see. Tap the banner or visit rodanandfields.com/Spotify to get your exclusive welcome offer.
We off? 30 seconds of carefree bliss. Oof, like wind in your hair carefree. Oh, like using Clorox Disinfecting All-Purpose Cleaner in the home carefree. Yes! Like dog slobbing on the coffee table and cleaning it with Clorox Carefree? He's on a roll now. Spit toothpaste on the faucet. You got it. You got it. Peanut butter on the light switch. Oh, spritz, spritz. Spritz, spritz. Clorox, man. Clean feels good. Okay, we're back. Use as directed.
Shopping is hard.
I can never find anything in my size.
I don't even know my size.
I buy my clothes the same place I buy my groceries.
There's a better way. Make it easy with Stitch Fix. Just share your size, style, budget, and done. Your personal stylist sends pieces picked just for you.
That was easy.
Stitch Fix. Online personal styling for everyone. Free shipping and returns. No subscription required. Get started today at stitchfix.com.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes. Anthony Cumia Show. Sunday evening. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in on the app, on the amplitude modulation waves going into your car antenna. Whatever it is, we do appreciate it here. I got to talk about LaMonica. What? Isn't Monica just fine? Why LaMonica? LaMonica MacGyver. She is a representative. She represents the people in what? I have no idea. But she professes to represent the people. There was a big, if I may say, a language, hold the kids' ears, a kerfuffle. There was quite a kerfuffle in Newark. There was some ICE agents that were assaulted by protesters. They were protesting the fact that ICE was arresting illegal aliens and bringing them to a Newark detention facility where they were held until they could be disposed of back to the country from whence they came. Because they are not here legally. And that is what we do. Or at least that's what we are supposed to do. That's what we've neglected to do during the past administration. So it's kind of nice to see that happening now. But these representatives on the left, boy, they certainly want what they call oversight. They use that word a lot. We are committed to oversight. It is our right to go into these facilities and oversee what's going on, the atrocities that these poor immigrants, leaving out the illegal part, of course, are going through. We need to see this, document it, and cry and take pictures of ourselves crying. And it's all just garbage. It's politically motivated nonsense. They don't have a right to just show up at a detention facility. Congress people, representatives have a right to oversight. They have oversight committees, and you make appointments and have discussions and then look into the process of whatever you're overseeing. They just show up at a protest and think they could go through a locked gate. And when they are told they can't, they start assaulting the officers that are there to secure the facility. So this is no different. And people will be like, really? No different than January 6th. Trespassing. I'm not saying these representatives should be put in prison for 20 years, like some Jan 6ers were before they were pardoned. I'm not saying they shouldn't have due process like a lot of Jan 6ers didn't have. They were put in cells in solitary confinement, not allowed to see their lawyers, their family, nothing. For the same crime, trespassing, simple trespassing on a government facility. And maybe you could say assault because some officers were hurt. They like to say they were killed on the set. No officer was killed by these people. So what, assault? All right, you're going to do that? Well, a lot of these representatives are also guilty of assaulting federal officers while trespassing on a federal facility. So, LaMonica, what's up? What's up, LaMonica? This her sister Harmonica. LaMonica MacGyver. So here we go. Let's listen to LaMonica MacGyver. She assaulted, from what I saw on this video, she allegedly assaulted an ICE officer, and here she is on fake news denying it and then turning it around and saying they, of course, the protesters and her and everyone else were the victims. LaMonica?
We really have no idea. As mentioned, I, along with Congressman Menendez and Congresswoman Bonnie Watson-Coleman, was there to literally do our jobs. We are members of Congress. We are able to show up and do oversight statutory visits, and that's what we were there for. And then all of this commotion happened. We were trying to figure out why they were so hostile, why they were so aggressive, why they were pushing and shoving, and why all of this happened. And quite frankly, why was the mayor arrested? Because we're totally confused as to what was going on and why that happened. And no one gave us any answers. We asked them repeatedly. We've been in contact with both Senator Booker and Kim to get answers from Homeland about what took place. And literally, we got no information.
Interesting. Why they were being so hostile. When you try to break in to a jail, a holding facility for criminals, and there are people out front whose job it is to protect that facility and prevent people from coming in or going out that aren't supposed to be in or out of the facility, you could call their pushing you or restraining or detaining you. You could absolutely call that harassment. It isn't. What they're doing is their job. How does she not understand this? Just because you're protesting, here's what the left really doesn't understand. Just because you're protesting doesn't mean that you have the right to just walk into any place you want to walk into. That was the crime of the January 6ers. And that's even questionable because they walked into the Capitol, which is supposedly the people's building. It wasn't a lockdown jail, prison, or holding facility for criminals. You could understand why you wouldn't want people coming in or going out of that type of facility. The guards at the lockup weren't inviting the protesters in like they did invite in the J6ers into the Capitol. There's plenty of video of that. And these are the same people that were clamoring to have these Jan 6ers locked up for life. They wanted them executed for treason, insurrection. And what did they do? They trespassed. A couple of cops might have gotten trampled upon. But these people that showed up in Newark definitely harassed, assaulted officers, and were trespassing in a place they had no business to ever be in. You want oversight? Maybe you should go through the proper channels and not show up with some degenerate American-hating protesters. thinking you're going to get into this facility. So let's not just go with LaMonica. AOC had something to say. This was happening, of course, and she's always got something to say. Is she? God, I hate saying this because people are like, "Oh, you're shaming." Is she getting a little chunky? Is she getting a little chunky? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's a little hippie, maybe, right? Maybe a little in the face. I don't know. So AOC is talking oversight. These are the people, by the way, that want no oversight over anything that they're doing. They're one hand, they're fighting to get this oversight of what ICE is doing and Homeland Security and the Border Patrol. They want openness and oversight on all of that. But the second the Trump administration tries to look into their little pocketbooks and their treasure chests to see what the hell they've been up to for years and years and years, oh, then there's a problem. They got to cover it up with, they're taking away Medicaid. Oh, they're looking at our every American's tax records. Doge has access to the Treasury. Oh, so oversight in that sense, oversight that saves the taxpayer money and protects the American people, that's not good. But oversight that what? Lets illegals run rampant in this country, that's a good thing. Boy, unless these liberal Democrats get a new playbook, they are, unless, again, the American people lose their mind again, they're just going to continue to lose. I hope we don't lose this. I hope the American people don't lose this passion for truth and knowledge and pointing out the crap, the bull that's going on with the mainstream media, politicians, and we constantly see it, constantly tear it apart and put it out there. And then every single time we go to the polls, we could at least run a good game against their cheat game. Because this is insane. They're advocating for criminals. And I don't know how any American in half a right mind could look at that and go, yes, this is the person I voted to represent my best interest. Yeah. Let's listen to AOC. Ooh, here she is.
And now what DHS is trying to say, again, they're using public intimidation because they know for us all. They know that they cannot come for us all. And recently what they said is that DHS is allegedly looking into arresting members of Congress who were showing up for their legal and constitutional obligation to conduct oversight. If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on someone, on Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman, on Representative, or any of the representatives that were there, you lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem. Because the people who are breaking the law are the people who are not abiding by it. And it is enshrined in the law that members of Congress who show up to ICE and CBP facilities are required to be granted access, legally required to be granted access. And they legally cannot be inhibited from accessing these facilities to conduct their constitutional obligation to investigate and conduct oversight. So if Kristi Noem wants to break the law, that's on her. But it sure as hell is not someone like Representative Robert Menendez that needs to be arrested. Okay?
Oh. It's the exact opposite of everything that we really hold dear. She's under the impression that any representative can just barge into a holding facility, yet she doesn't want anyone affiliated with Trump to oversee the Treasury and oversee U.S. aid, that boondoggle where our tax money was just disappearing. How about you? They talk about Congress people having the right to go into any of these government facilities for oversight. How about the American people going into the Capitol and demanding oversight of what they do? How many times have you seen this woman walking in the hallways of the Capitol and somebody asking her questions, whether it's a reporter for a major news organization, which is rare because they're part of the machine, or an independent journalist, and they're asking them questions. They have burly security guards pushing the people away. And they get in their elevator and they give you a snarky little smile like, you're not getting me. You're the ones that need the people to have access to. You want access to a lockup, an ICE lockup that illegal aliens are being put in till they could get sent back to their own country? How about access to you? You're supposed to be representing us. If we want to go up there and ask you questions and look at your books and criticize your job that you're doing, you're the one that needs to be open and honest and have an open door so we could go in there and assess what you're doing. But no, they run away with their security, who will push you and assault you if you try to get too close to the likes of AOC or Jasmine Crockett or what's her name? Waters, Justine, whatever. Maxine Waters, Justine Bateman. Oh, the hypocrisy is absolutely infuriating. I mean, you'd love to think it is by the people, for the people. You always hear about that. And these liars, under the guise of we're doing it for you, they're going into that lockup and barging into ICE agents to try to get through a locked gate for you. Don't you feel great about AOC? That she's helping you. She wants you. That's your eyes going into this lockup. Bull. They won't let you within 10 feet of them when you're in the Capitol asking, where'd that money go? What was that deal you made? Who is that crony that gave you money? How did you pay for your house using your father as your spouse and saying that's your residence, your permanent residence, when you don't even live there? Huh? But no. They're helping you, everyone. They're helping you. They're so helpful and wonderful. It's disgusting. Your hair was in the toilet. Disgusting. Sopranos, of course. Ugh. We all see it. That's the thing. I hope the awareness that we're getting, we feel it. Go out, go to a bar, talk to some people, talk amongst your friends, see what the vibe is. Even on social media, people are getting away with a lot. And I'm not talking about that's racist, that's homophobic. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about having honest discussions about things that were considered much too sensitive to talk about on social media just a couple of years ago. And now we're able to talk about it. We're able to use these formerly verboten words. Things are changing. But the downside is to think, God, please don't just turn around and go back to this. Because we've had enough, man. The lying, the same playbook, AOC, LaMonica MacGyver. On the next episode of MacGyver, LaMonica, they say Trump and his administration are ripping up the Constitution. How? By getting America better deals? By allowing the American people more freedom to speak out against the crime being perpetrated against us by you? Disgusting. We'll be right back in moments. The Anthony Cumia Show. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Spock. Boy. Obviously I was just talking about hoping things don't just, this isn't that speed bump and things don't just go back to the insanity. You think back to the past 4 years under Biden, we could hearken back to the Obama days, and there was a lot of nonsense going on during that 8 years. That's for sure. I think a lot of people can look at the Obama years as the beginning of this insanity that became the radical left, where everything that they wanted to do, no matter how debaucherous and disgusting, became reality. And if you spoke up against it, you were the problem. You were the some phobic or phobe or whatever, which is hilarious, Oh, you're scared? No, not scared. I'm disgusted. But, I hope things continue on the track we're going. I think, it sounds corny and everything, Americana, things like that, our traditional values and sensibilities and who we have sympathy and empathy for in this country, being an American, what that really meant and still supposed to mean, and how far off that path we have gotten. And you look over the past 4 years of Biden-Harris and realize it was just at an accelerated rate, an insanely accelerated rate where everything got out of control. The slippery slope was given the spotlight over the past 4 years. Whenever something comes up and people go, well, I'm okay with that, but I bet it's going to be a slippery slope and it's going to lead to... And everyone goes, oh, stop. There's no such thing, slippery slope. And then you look and go, oh, my God, that was the slipperiest slope I've ever seen. And a lot of things we're seeing with transgender stuff here in this country started as something that wasn't that crazy. Look, I know I'm considered right of conservative, I've been called some pretty crazy things for my political ideology as far as it being right wing or what have you. But my basic philosophy is if you're happy and you're living your best life and it isn't screwing with anyone else and their dream of a great, fun life, then so be it. I really don't care what people do in the privacy of their bedroom. It's when they want to bring it out into schools and into public transportation and where you work. That's the problem. And when things were initially explained to Americans, like gay marriage, why? You get married to a woman and a woman gets married to a man. Why shouldn't gay people have the same happiness that you have? And it's worded in a way, and you got to get past your initial kind of weirdness of it because you're not used to it. And then you start thinking, yeah, okay. All right. Who am I to say people can't be happy? And then it just goes off the rails every single time with the left. It goes off the rails. Can gay people get married? All right. Let's just do this. Let them put the ring. They'll both wear suits or they'll both wear dresses, whatever it is. And then a couple of years later, you got some hairy-ass man shaking his butt in children's faces in a library. And if you voice your displeasure with that, they make it seem like you're against the gay people getting married. It's like, no, I said that was okay. But now you're trudging this out, and this isn't okay. Oh, so gays can't get married? Like, that's where you get put in this catch-22 position. And that's the problem. The give an inch, take a mile saying is the left. It's the left. They do it every time. And 4 years under Biden-Harris has been give an inch, take a parsec for you geeks out there. It's a big, big distance, a parsec. So, let me see, what time is it here? 56. I'm looking at my minutes. I might have talked over what I wanted to actually do. It's transgender in the military. We could get back to it when we return after the top of the hour, but I'll talk about it a little bit before we go to the actual sound clip. The transgender people that have gone into the military have such an expense has been put on the military for these people. And they aren't even combat ready. They're not deployable. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, has spoken and says, no, we will not have transgender people in the military. And how do you argue that? They're not deployable. They can't be slinging a rifle next to other men, hunkered down somewhere. They're not combat ready. But the amount of money that the military has spent on them, giving them operations, building separate barracks, separate facilities, everything has to be separate. There's just this military mentality that has always made military men good at what they're supposed to do, kill other people. It's not a sympathetic bunch. We'll talk about this a little more in a matter of moments. Anthony Cumia Show. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Anthony Cumia Show. We do greatly appreciate it. I want to continue a little bit about this transgender in the military story that popped up because Pete Hegseth, or is it Hegseth? I think it's Hegseth. It looks weird when I read it and then say it like Heg. I'm a hard G guy. Yeah, I'm a hard G. Pete, the Secretary of Defense, said, yeah, the transgender soldiers, transgender brass in the military makes no sense. It's a bigger expense. They aren't deployable. And the rest of the rank and file military guys, it's not part of the vibe of grabbing a rifle, running into battle and shooting people. There isn't this, like I said, this empathetic thing where, oh, yeah, good for you. Good on you. You be you. No, you all got to be you. You're all fighting for that. Anyway, so there's a transgender soldier, and we will hear, I was going to say him, her. You know, when people go, so I have a transgender daughter, don't you have to go, does that mean you have a son now? Like a daughter that became transgender, so now it's a boy. Oh, my transgender son. Oh, so your boy wears a dress? No, it's my son now. You're like, oh, okay. Well, F me running. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. How about that? How about you're insane? You're a Munchausen by proxy syndrome mother. It was healthier when they were just pouring Lysol into their kids' soup so they could get attention at the hospital than lopping off workable, healthy organs. But that's just my opinion. My opinion is not necessarily that of these radio stations. So here's a transgender soldier talking about being in the military and how dedicated they are. And one thing I noticed, and I hope you do, just talking about how much money and resources went into this one person because they're transgender. Here you go.
So you have been in for 20 years.
That's the girl.
And a lot of the time they talk about, oh, it's just too expensive to take care of our trans troops. It's just care is so expensive. How much do you think the military has invested in your 20-year career?
Well, in me in particular, they've given me multiple degrees, tons of classes, and the ability to design and develop our nation's most advanced technology.
So they're just throwing that away.
And there are decades invested in me and millions of dollars in me and thousands of other transgender service members. I mean, when you add it up, we're talking probably $1 billion invested into us or more that would be out the door. And we don't develop commanders and colonels in a day. Right. It takes time to build those leaders who are capable of training the next generation and making sure we have this unbroken line of service members ready to fight tonight and defend this nation's interests. Colonel.
Just stop it. You hear that voice. So we have the next generation of leaders that are ready to bring up those younger soldiers. And this guy in a skirt in whatever women wear is going to stand in front of a group of new recruits, men, and they're going to respect this person unconditionally. This isn't a movie. This isn't some Netflix garbage. They're going to laugh. They're going to make fun. They're going to feel defeated that their leadership is a freak show. Come on. And all the money they pour into you could be poured into a guy that's able to do the job and get the respect from his men because he's one of them. And he's not looking for any special attention. And he doesn't need some operation or psychological care or separate facilities. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of resources. And thank God Donald Trump appointed a Secretary of Defense that is done with this nonsense. Because come on, that's what it is. Let's just stop already. Were you brainwashed? Was anyone listening to this actually brainwashed and going, no, what a good point. That lady's making such a good point. Why should we deny them the opportunity to lead and be because it's not normal. It's not right. You know what the army, the military needs? Normalcy. It's regimented. It's regulated, organized. You're a killer. What are you, Mickey Spillane? You're a killer. I may allow you to be a rifleman in my beloved corps. Imagine that. Full Metal Jacket. Gunnery Sergeant Hartman going around there. What the hell is this? I'm transgender, sir. Jesus H. Christ. What? It doesn't work. Why people assumed the military, the American military, arguably, I never used to say arguably, but I think we still need some work. Arguably, the most powerful, technologically advanced, gung-ho military on the face of the earth. There's a reason for that. Why did anyone think it was a good idea to bring people in that didn't fit into it? The military is a very different thing than a society. America, you know, I don't even believe that a lot of people fit in society. But you could at least argue it. The military, they cut your hair off so you all look the same. You're in a uniform. Uniform means being uniform. It's all the same. And then you bring a guy with a wig and a penis and he's a girl and what? This is insanity. But again, as I said, thank God we kind of got past that. The Trump speed bump. And I really hope it continues. Because it is insane to think how far off the beaten path we got with sanity in this country. Let's go to the phones. We'll go to the phones. I'm all about that. Let's see. Chris from the Conch, as we call it in Long Island, Ronkonkoma, the Conch. Chris, what's up?
What's up, man? Hey, you know what? Let me just start by saying you make Sunday nights awesome now.
I love it. Thank you, Chris.
From getting ready for work the next day, now I look forward to this every Sunday. Anyway, now that I got that out of the way, you forgot one line. Didn't Mommy and Daddy show you enough attention? From the movie. Right?
Why aren't you stomping Private Pyle's guts out? Yeah.
No, the reason I called was two things. Now, I'm around the same age as you. I think I'm like 2 years younger than you. But anyway, where do you think that all of these why do you think that this all of a sudden blew up like this with the transgender? When I was a kid, I remember hearing about one of them. Remember the Renee Richards?
Renee Richards was like the big thing. And then there was
a tennis
player.
That
the tennis player? Yeah. And then that was like freaky.
Right. But but the thing was, she did what she did. And then just lived her life without sticking in people's faces and, pushing on it. She did what she did, and she went and, lived her life, and there was no issue. And then the next one, famous one, is Bruce Jenner, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, there were a lot before that, but yep.
But I'm talking about, where it was, blowing up in your face. But, what do you think?
Up in your face. Hey, Chris, Chris, when Renee Richards played tennis, it's the only time the girls played with 3 balls on the court. Oh!
So what made you? So what? Why do you think it blew up like that? What is it? Something in the meat, the steroids? Was it something? What's going on?
No. I think it became the left, the media, movies, advertising. It became easier for people to say this is what I want to do, but that wasn't actually people that thought they were women, men that thought they were women. It's always been a perversion. There were they called them transvestites back in the day, and it was just men that wanted to put women's clothing on, and then they'd go home to their families and, live a life as a husband and father. But I think it became something to do for attention. I think what you're seeing, especially with young people in school, they go, wow, in school, there's so many transgender kids. Here's why. If you're a nerd or a geek or unpopular in school and you see a boy that comes in a dress and a wig and now he's being fawned over by the faculty, the teachers, the students, he's like, you got to think to yourself, I got to do something. I'm being bullied. I'm lost in the crowd. I'm a piece of garbage. So now if I do this, hey, I think I'm trans. And now you're the queen of the ball. You're very popular now. I think it became something to do, just something where I can now go out and be a person that gets attention and gets sympathy. And people want to be around to show, people want to be around trans people to show how tolerant and awesome they are. So people started They're not trans. 99.9% of these people aren't trans. I do believe there's a genetic anomaly that happens as rarely as a meteor hitting New York. I think it is something genetic that happens where you go, oh my God, something got screwed up in those chromosomes and genes. But 99.9999% are men that are so freakish and perverted that they want to do that. Other people that are lonely, that want attention. And then parents that are shoving their kids into this because they want their neighbors to think they're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I say anyway.
Real quick question. Yeah. I've been watching some of the podcasts. I'm looking at the shelf behind you while you're talking. Is that a picture of Mannix and Frank Cannon?
Yeah, I'm rebuilding now. I'm getting a new thing, but yes, they're my heroes. My childhood heroes were
I was
Cannon.
watching it. I'm going, is that
and
Mannix?
Mannix.
I go, that's Cannon over there. That's so funny. All right, man. Have a good night. Good
I
talking
love
to
it.
you.
Thanks, Chris. Have a good time out there in the conch. Going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Impact confirmed. The Slayer has been activated.
Demonic threat level increasing.
Hold the line!
All the power of hell cowering before one man.
id Software presents Doom: The Dark Ages. Available May 15th on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and PC. Pre-order now.
Rated M for mature.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
Morning decisions. A creamy mocha frappuccino drink? A sweet vanilla? Maybe a smooth caramel? Or that white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Start your day with bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drinks. Pick up a bottle near you wherever you buy your groceries.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, it is. Thank you for tuning in this Sunday evening, the Anthony Cumia Show. God, I was just thinking, remember the old commercials for the military and the TV commercials? There was one, I think the peak badass of military commercials was for the Navy when Godsmack, it was a Godsmack song, and it was just carriers and F-18s taking off and bedlam. And you're like, God damn, is that awesome? And then it became like, when I decided I wanted to be a woman, the Army paid for my... And you're like, what? What happened? We were listening to Godsmack and watching Top Gun. Oh, my goodness gracious. Goodness gracious, Martha. Paul. Paul in Queens. What's up, Paul?
Hi. How are you?
Pretty good.
All right. Just give me 1 second.
Oh, we got all the time in the world. It's just a radio show that every minute is an expense.
Nah, one of the fastest radio shows. I remember you guys when you
it's
were
the Paul
with
Show.
Opie and Anthony back in the 90s.
Thank you.
My thing is, maybe you can look into this, Ant.
Yep.
Usually, the bus stops have, New York City advertising, or the subway has New York City advertising, wasting our tax dollars. But the one thing was, when I was a driver, and now I see this is, I take blood pressure medication. I don't want to be upset. So I hope you could just get this out and say, Eric Adams, what the hell are you doing? I just saw a truck with LED display, those things that cost hundreds of dollars an hour.
Yeah, sure.
With New York City Public Schools saying, get ready for elections. How do you dare take my tax dollars instead of posting it up on a subway or a bus like you usually do, like toilet paper, and put it on a truck that costs like $500 an hour to drive around New York City with LED display? Who's decided to do something stupid like that? That's a lot of
that's
freaking money.
taxpayer money. Yeah, is that taxpayer money?
That's definitely our taxpayer money. I don't want to yell. I don't want to be upset. But maybe I should. Maybe think you can look into this and see who is the complete idiot to spend something that costs like probably $500 an hour on a private advertising display to have that drive around with New York City public schools, retarded stuff.
I'll put my news desk on it. I'll put the Anthony Cumia Show news desk on that, and we'll keep you posted.
Up with something to explain how stupid New York is.
This unfolding story. By the way, you're not going to have to worry about Eric Adams for very much longer. Let's just put it that way. This guy doesn't have a chance in hell of being reelected. And boy, you guys.
If we went into that trifecta election system where you get the most stupidest guy elected after your third semester, it's retarded. But
trimester. No, I get you, but I mean,
very much, sir.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, hey there, Paul. What do you say? We pen each other up, right, Bill? Yeah, it's one of these situations in New York City. Man, you guys are screwed. It's definitely, and I hate saying this because I don't want to discourage Curtis, but the Democrats got such a lock on New York City. They just keep electing mayors that one is worse than the next. And now you got Cuomo, who's a big name. He was the governor, even though, if you want to really get into details, I think there's an allegation that could be made about him being responsible for the deaths of many, many senior citizens. And he blamed his molesting of young women at a wedding on the fact that he's Italian. I'm a piece of garbage, and I've never even used that one. Jeepers. So it's just one of these situations that I feel bad for New York, but I also have to think you get what you vote for, my friends. And as a matter of fact, Cuomo is number one for the Dem nomination. Democrats are going around. It's such a I don't know, farce. They got these Democrats and all of them. There's a big laundry list of them. And then you just know Cuomo's going to get the Democrat nod for mayor of New York City. But oddly enough, in second place is this Zoran Mamdani guy. Is that who you want as your mayor? Zoran Mamdani? Isn't that the machine Tom Hanks used in Big? Zoran, I want to be big. Zoran Mamdani. And this guy is a communist. He's a commie. And he thinks that putting criminals on the streets and having a sanctuary city is safe, is a safer thing to do, and it's a good thing for the people. Play this clip of Zoran Mamdani.
The first thing to do is to actually live up to the laws that we have here in New York City, which are sanctuary city policies. These are policies that have been defended by Republicans and Democrats alike, and yet Eric Adams has fear-mongered about them for such an extensive period of time that we've come to think of them as the illustration of all that's wrong with the city, when in fact it is an evidence-based approach that has made us safer across New York City. It's actually reduced crime. What I would do is not only stand up for those policies, but would strengthen them. I would establish an oversight commission that would ensure we have 100% compliance with the law, which is that New York City schools, hospitals, properties, as well as properties of city contractors are not to allow ICE agents.
Not to allow ICE agents, schools, hospitals. And that's what he called adhering to the law. The law is they don't belong there. By name, they are illegal aliens. And a sanctuary city makes your city safer? Look at every single Democrat-run major metropolis in this nation. They are riddled with crime. Now, there's, the basic gang nonsense that goes on, but illegal alien gangs that have been shipped to these cities have been doing unbelievable amounts of violence and crime in these places they've been sent to. And this idiot that's running for the mayor, that is number two, ponderous, for the Democratic nod for the mayoral ticket, says that that's what he wants. Sanctuary cities, bail reform. It's safer that way. Safer. They blatantly lie. It's just such a lie. You could look up the statistics that prove he is lying. And they just keep blurting it out. And I'm sure, look, he's number 2. I don't even care how far back he is from Cuomo at number 2. But that means people in New York are like, yep, this is my man. This is my guy. Are you out of your minds, New York? Yes, I'm answering for them. Yes, we are indeed out of our minds. And what do you do? What do you do? I don't know. I think Curtis would be a great mayor. Just for the fact that, like Trump, it would shake things up so much. And so much would be exposed. We need that. You need that in New York. I'm in South Carolina. What the hell am I talking about? Be right back. Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
That's my name. Don't wear it out. Was that something we used to say? I think it is. A rank out. I'm going to rank you out. The Anthony Cumia Show. This is, I don't know what's going on in the Democrat Party. Who's trying to vie for position? It's really early. I mean, we're just past that 100-day Trump mark. And but some people are still out there. I've speculated, as you probably know, that they're putting the cannon fodder out there. They're putting the mental patients out, the extremists, the nut jobs, Maxine Waters, like we said, of course, LaMonica just got out there. Maxine Waters, AOC. They're all the mental patients that the left and the Dems are putting out there because they're waiting. They're waiting till they can put a candidate out there that makes them look crazy and makes him look moderate. That's definitely their plan. Let these nuts squawk about all the nonsense that lost them the 2024 election. Let them go out with the same playbook. LGBTQ, climate change. We need illegals. We need more of them coming in. Bring back a criminal from El Salvador. All this nonsense that we're seeing from the left is so that when maybe there's a year and a half left, 2 years left, they put a candidate up, the Democrats, that can say old school left-wing stuff, old school Democrat policy. And because of how insane the Democrats have been for years now, Americans might look at that person and go, oh my God, this guy's a godsend. He is the most middle of the road. He's not a liberal. He's not a conservative. I think they're using forced perspective. If they make the left look crazy enough and put someone out there that's not that crazy, he'll look like a godsend. And I think that's what they're doing. So for the next year, I guess, maybe a little longer, we are going to see some of the most insane people on the left. And some of the, the old-time favorites, The oldie time favorites like Bernie Sanders. Bernie and AOC have kind of teamed up as this, I don't know. I couldn't imagine that meeting of them thinking it's good for them to take that show on the road and try to muster up some Democrats for rallies and whatnot. But they're doing it. And Bernie and AOC put together a video. But now Bernie, I guess, I don't even know if this is a presidential run. He'll run again for senator, and he'll win again. The same idiots just keep voting these old fools in, like Chuck Schumer and Pelosi and Waters. So I can't imagine Bernie's campaigning now already for his job in the midterms, I guess. But this is one of his campaign ads. Listen to this. It's insane.
We have got to think in unprecedented ways. We cannot do today what we did yesterday.
Unprecedented.
And that means we need a political revolution in the deepest sense.
He's rapping.
And that sense understands I'm not Taylor Swift.
Oh,
in case you
bring
haven't
in the
noticed.
kids.
We're not here as an entertainment show. We're not here to applaud Bernie. We are here to transform America, and the only way we do it is by transforming ourselves.
What? I got to cut parts off?
Democracy is not an entertainment activity. It's not looking at somebody else. It's not a beauty contest. It's not a concert. It is getting active and standing up for the people next to us, the people down the block, and the people across the country. So we need to be thinking of new ways as to how we can bring people together to create the kind of nation that you and I know we can become.
It doesn't work that way, you dummy. What a dolt. What a dolt Bernie Sanders is. And like I said, what's he doing? Is this a presidential run? Donald Trump is old. I'm old. This could work. He sounds like the anteater from the Pink Panther. So what is he doing? This isn't garnering support for the Democrats. Bernie Sanders isn't going across the country and starting this blue wave of support. He's a fossil with no new ideas who's still literally a communist. So I don't know what they're thinking, but the only reasonable explanation is what I just said. Parade out the mental patients. They could create a Democrat, a man, a white man. After all this nutty stuff, the Democrats put a white dude up. And he's not this extremist left communist mental patient. He will look like a miracle to the Democrats at this point. That's the only thing they can do. That's the only recourse they have, because their policies have gotten so mental that no one supports it anymore except the most extreme mentally damaged Americans. Here's Bernie now. This argument has been made quite a few times with the climate change crowd. Leo DiCaprio, all the people that they talk about climate change and how things have to change and our carbon footprint. They want to tax people for their carbon footprint, and electric cars, which they don't understand, still run on fuel oil, natural gas, and coal. That's 99.9% of what is making your electric car move. So I don't know where they get this. We got to get away from fossil fuels. Oh, really? What's burning in the power plant to charge up your car, dummy? So Bernie and these people have been confronted on social media mostly about, hey, you fly a private jet. You take private jets across the country to do these rallies that, again, I don't even know what they're for, but he'll fly somewhere in a private plane, get out, get SUV caravan, takes him to the venue. He speaks back in the SUVs, back to the airport, back in the private jet. And people have said, hey, guys, how much carbon are those jets throwing off? And they usually shrug and try to come up with something like, well, it's different, but they never explain it. Well, Bernie actually explains it here. And all it does is completely reinforce the fact that they are hypocrites, complete hypocrites, elitists who place themselves so far above you that they could do whatever they want while telling you every aspect of your life and how you should live it. So let's listen to Bernie talking about his private jets and why he takes them.
5 rallies in a week, the only way you can get around to talk to 30,000 people. Think I'm going to be sitting on a waiting line at United waiting, 30,000 people are waiting? That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that. That's what campaign travel is about. We've done it in the past. We're going to do it in the future.
Oh. So you waiting, and I mean you, the people listening, on a line at United or Delta or American or whatever, that's fine. Good. Wait, scum. Wait, you worthless serfs. You wretched refuse. You wait for your commercial flight. I have rallies to get to. I go to 5 rallies a week. How am I supposed to fly commercial? How dare you tell Bernie Sanders he should fly commercial? I need to talk to people and tell them how they should lead their lives and how they should get heat and electricity and drive their car. Son of these. Ugh. That's what he thinks of you. That's what he thinks of you. He actually says it. I'd wait online at United. I got people to talk to. Oh, no one else is busy. No one else in this country has places to be and wants to get there as quickly and efficiently as possible, Bernie. We're just pieces of garbage that have to wait on these long lines while you're whisked to your private jet so you could tell a rally full of people that they need solar panels on their roof and drive electric cars and turn their heat down. Oh, God, how do we not hate these people more? I don't know. I don't know how we don't hate these people more. But that's what we get. That's your Bernie Sanders, environmentalist. And by the way, that's every single one of them. Taylor Swift, she flies a private jet, literally 5 minutes in the sky. I've seen people post a flight plan from sick stalker. But 5 minutes from wheels up to wheels down. Because there's traffic. Taylor can't wait in traffic. Leo DiCaprio. Oh, he's got to get to some climate change accord. A meeting with people. And, well, I'm important. That's their whole gimmick. I'm important. You're not. It's the only real excuse there is. I'm much more important to you than you. What I have to say means something. What you have to say doesn't. Where I have to be is very important. Where you have to be, well, wait on a line. You're boarding zone 5, row 38. I'm walking into a private jet. And I don't even care how much exhaust comes out of this thing. I'm not you. I'm special. And these people are revered by some morons in this country who can't see it. It's obvious. They flaunt it in your face, people. In your face. Larry from the Isle of Staten in New York. What's up, Larry?
Hey, Big Tony, how you doing?
Hey, Big
First
Tony,
of all,
2 shirts. What's up, man?
First of all, here's this dude. What the hell's his name? I forgot his name. Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
We're in the 115th day of Donald Trump's administration. What is he going to do for 3 years? Do you know how much fuel that's going to burn over the next 3 years?
Yeah,
Why?
exactly.
What is the purpose?
What is the purpose? He's going to be winging around using that he got to make a rally as an excuse. What the rallies don't even make sense. He has no influence over the voter base that they need in the Democrat Party. So they're just going to let him fly around, blowing out exhaust and being the jack off that he is. And what's that going to do?
I love that. Now, Big Ant.
Yes, sir.
The next question I have.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Question I have. Here's this Letitia James.
Oh,
here she is. She got sworn in. She said, "My first mission is going to take down Donald Trump."
Yes, Larry. Let me just let people know. Letitia James is the Attorney General here in New York, in New York State, and she is up on allegations, at least at this point, of fraud, mortgage fraud, real estate fraud. She's the one that went after Donald Trump, and her platform for running for office was going after Donald Trump, where she said, "I don't even have a crime yet, but I'll find one. I'll find something to get this guy." So continue, Larry. Thank you.
Now, here we are with Sunday's Post, and here she is. Donald Trump is going against me.
Yeah.
Why is he retaliating?
Yeah, this is retaliation. She thinks Trump is using the justice system as vengeance against her, when meanwhile, she started the whole thing by using the justice system against Donald Trump. She was able to work it because everyone was behind her on this whole thing. And now that Trump got in, they never expected that again, which is great. It's the second time they didn't think he was going to get into office and wreak havoc. And now she's stuck, and she committed crimes. And hopefully she'll have to pay for them. I hope to see it, Larry.
Well, I just hope that they have an orange suit that she can fit into.
Oh, that's going to be a tough one. She's going to have to wear that statue they put in Times Square. She's going to use that as a suit. That mess she is. Thank you, Larry. Larry. What are you doing there, Larry? Your dog, Larry. Your mother, Larry. Wasn't that Larry upstairs? Raging Bull? Might have been. Let's see. Look at my glasses. I'm trying to see the, what is this? What the hell can I don't want that. Get rid of that. Oh, the mouse. The whole. Okay, Pamela, Jersey. What's up?
Hey, don't worry. The young communists, as soon as they're finished using Bernie Sanders to get the old commie vote, they'll throw him aside.
Absolutely. They don't understand. Like, Bernie thinks he's the hero of the youth. He went to Coachella, man, and he's yelling from the stage, and the dummies are applauding. They would eat him if they needed some sustenance.
Absolutely. He's being used.
Yes. I like it. Thank you, Pamela. There goes the Pamela. I want to talk a little to Jasmine Crockett, but maybe Kevin, something we've talked about today. Long Beach, California, or Long Island, Kevin?
Long Island, Ant.
All right. Been down there.
And want to talk about Jasmine Crockett. She was let ahead in the airport the other day in Texas.
Yeah.
Ahead of about 50 people with her
ahead of wheelchairs.
With her Frito fingernails.
You know, Kevin, let me tell you something. I've been flying a lot the past few years, and we all don't like the wheelchair brigade at the airport. I can't stand them. I think most of them can walk. They just get in that wheelchair, and they have the airport people push them in, and we have to wait till they get in their seat, and you're sitting there, and I'm like a Diamond member, and I have to wait. I have to wait. And then the military, we all got to, look all okay, take our hats off. Any active military with ID is welcome to board now. And you're like, I'm not going to say a word. I'm not a piece of garbage. I get it. And then I hate the anyone that might need assistance. That doesn't mean, that could be anybody. What does that even mean? They should be last on. And then Diamond, Gold, First Class gets to board. We used to be first. That's first class, first boarding. I'm tired of it, Kevin. Anyway,
Absolutely.
Continue.
And and then speaking of the military, I saw a new naval commercial for the Navy. Every person they show, submariners, everything, were all women.
Are you kidding? Even now?
Dead serious, And they wonder why we got planes falling out of the skies, helicopters crashing, Ospreys blowing up.
Yeah, the carrier in the Red Sea had to take a sharp turn the other day, and an F-18 fell off into the water. How does that happen? How does that happen?
Yeah, exactly. And
Disgusting.
That statue you were talking about in Times Square, there's an artist named Thomas Price. He's British.
Yep,
he's
I
not
know.
an artist. He's a modernist.
Yeah.
But he uses 3D printers. He doesn't even sculpt.
No, they're not sculptors.
No.
And they don't put up art that means anything. He knew. And someone made a good point. It's like that 12-foot tall bronze statue of an overweight black woman looking like she's angry that her order didn't go well at McDonald's is being laughed at. That's not a statue people revere or look at. People want to think that, but people are taking pictures with it and mocking it. It's not a work of art that people go, oh, this is something that is poignant. I'm really going to look at this in a way that makes me think. They look and go, ugh, I just saw her at Burger King yelling.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of them. He's got one in Florence. Can you believe it?
Yeah, on the cell phone.
The irony, right in front of the David statue, they put another one.
And meanwhile, Teddy Roosevelt's statue in front of the New York Museum of Natural History was taken out unceremoniously with a crane and put in some store. They'll melt it down and make 20 George Floyd statues. It's disgusting, Kevin. Disgusting. Thank you, my friend. All right. Here goes Kevin. We'll be back in moments. Maybe a little Jasmine Crockett when we get back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
In golf, precision is everything, on and off the course. PGA of America chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business for smooth operations and seamless transactions. Together, we enhance ticketing and concessions for better fan experiences from gate to green. This is pro-level efficiency. This is PGA of America with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Whipping it out. That's what we used to do. Shock jock. I'm a former shock jock. I put that on my resume. Ladies and gentlemen, Jasmine Crockett. I've been speaking a lot of her of late. She is one of our representatives. I don't know who she could possibly, well, maybe I do know who she could represent, but she's gaining some traction. And again, I think she's one of the cannon fodder, the people that are being put out there by the powers that be on the left that will try to make the Democrats look as crazy as possible so they could get that guy out and make him look like a reasonable, viable, sensible, centrist Democrat candidate, whoever it is. So she's just one of the pawns that are being used. Actually, let me talk to Matt from the Bronx. He's been sitting here for a little bit, wants to do a little Jasmine talk. Matt, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you, Anthony?
Good.
So pretty much, Roger Stone was right on the money when he said that, the Democratic Party is a Marxist party. And I mentioned it before. I cannot mention it enough. Get that book, The Cultural Critique, by Kevin McDonald, Dr. Kevin McDonald.
Yes, I remember your call from last week.
It definitely mentions all those idiotic ideologies from the left: feminism, Marxism, transgenderism, mass immigration.
A lot of isms,
most
yes.
importantly. Yes. You definitely get that book and to understand what's animating the Democratic Party of today. It is not your father's Democratic Party by no means.
No, so different.
Right.
I think, let me just say something quickly, because when Roger was on earlier, I was thinking about this, but I didn't get to spit it out before he had to leave. It's amazing to me that Ted Kennedy right now would be considered a conservative Democrat. He would be considered and we looked at him like the Antichrist. He was just the most liberal, horrible, almost commie version of a liberal Democrat. And now you look at people like that were Democrats back when he was in the 70s and 80s. And you're like, oh my God, they wish they had people like that could actually work with the other party and not be mental patients. And he killed a woman.
Sure, exactly. And you had to remember that Ted the swimmer Kennedy, Chappaquiddick swimmer.
Yes.
He actually co-sponsored the Immigration Act in 1965, which turned the country upside down and opened the borders to the third world. He was partly responsible for that.
Oh yeah.
But I want to get to Jasmine Crockett really quickly because I know we're up against the clock. She said that all the violence in the country is perpetuated by right-wing white organizations, the Klan.
Oh, we all know that. Sure.
It's all
you see in the news every day. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, apparently she doesn't live anywhere near a black ghetto because, blacks are what, 13% of the population? They commit 50% of the homicides in this country.
That's a
every
hate
single
statistic.
year.
We call that hate stats.
And mind you, that's not even political violence. That's ordinary criminal violence.
Right.
Black Lives Matter was a combination of the two. It was political and criminal violence because BLM rioters, they thought that they were advancing their cause by liberating plasma screen TVs from Best Buy.
No, I don't know how that wasn't seen as terrorism. That is trying to put forth your political ideology by the use of violence and hate and death. So that sounds like terrorism to me.
Sure. And that's what we have in store for us in the future if things keep going demographically the way they're going without being abated. And
Matt, I gotta take off. Thank you for your call, Matt. Yes, I thank everybody again for another wonderful Sunday evening with you, the fine people that tune in and listen to the Anthony Cumia Show. I do greatly appreciate it. We'll be back next Sunday, 8 p.m. Don't forget, jot it down. Go to the App Store and get the 77 WABC app, and you can listen to me everywhere, anytime. We'll see you next week with the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.